Well, we all have been feeling the effects of supply chain shortages in the United States. And right now we want to talk to some folks whose job it is to help get goods around the United States. More than 90% of America's truck drivers, by the way, are owner-operators or small businesses. We're joined now by Grant Goodale, who's Convoy co-founder. This company helps truckers get goods, full trucks around the country, and Jacinda Duran, who is a carrier for Blackburn Energy. You guys have just been driving together. I know, Grant, you've been sort of checking out the business. And I want to start with you with what you guys have been seeing in your business as we've been seeing not just, sort of shortages of goods around the country, but also rising energy prices.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we've definitely had some interesting times over the last few months and obviously through the pandemic as well. Convoy primarily works with those 90% owners and small businesses that make up the majority of the trucking capacity in our country. And it's been a challenge for them. I think you've seen all sorts of, sort of fuel price spikes. You've seen businesses have to change their supply chain patterns in order to adapt to their customers' changing needs and to the pressures that they're feeling on their own supply chains. And companies like Convoy have had to help those shippers adapt to those changes by providing them with flexible capacity through that network of small carriers.
Grant, what prompted this trip?
It's a great question. So we work with hundreds of thousands of small carriers, but as a tech company and as a tech executive, my personal experience with these carriers is limited to these kinds of ride-alongs. And coming out of the pandemic, it's been fantastic to reconnect with our carriers and experience their lives, the challenges that they face every day, and observe them in action, see the skill that it takes to drive one of these heavy trucks through traffic, through weather, through accidents. All of these, by the way, we experienced yesterday on I-40. And the goal of this is to make sure that we at Convoy fully understand our customers and are able to provide them with the services, the products, and the support that they need to be successful.
It occurs to me, right, there were some tornadoes in the southeastern part of the country yesterday. So hopefully you guys got through it unscathed. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Jacinda, what has been the biggest change for you over the past 2 years in driving your truck? And what has been sort of the thing that has become the toughest?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Obviously, as we all know right now, fuel prices, at hand, there's always changing, always evolving. But right now, obviously, it's the fuel prices, squeezing small carriers out right now. Only the strong are going to survive at this point. So, we're riding it out. We're hanging in there, battling these fuel prices. Freight prices are not going up following the fuel prices. So it's going to be the last man standing at the end of this.
Jacinda, I'm not familiar with trucking. Obviously, I'm not a trucker. How much does it cost to fill up your truck? And how much more are you spending now on fuel right now compared to a month ago?
Used to cost about $800, to fill up. Now we're talking $1,000, $1,100 to fill up a 250-gallon tank. So, and it's raising every day. Literally, you've seen fuel prices go up 40 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents overnight. And, an average fuel week was about $1,600. Now it's $2,400 a week.
You are blowing our minds, Jacinda, I think, with these numbers. So, Grant, if she's putting that much more in the truck, our carriers getting paid more, right? We see on the consumer level, we see prices going higher. Are rates for truckers going up too?
On average, no. The rates for truckers are not increasing as rapidly as fuel prices are increasing. And that's what's putting the squeeze on the small carriers in this nation.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
So there are a variety of reasons for that. The primary one is a lot of the freight that's moved in this country is moved under contract, and those freight rates are set annually or less frequently, which makes it hard for the companies that are setting those contracts to flex to accommodate fuel prices that move so quickly. There are other reasons, obviously, but that's one of the primary ones.
Grant, how do you think electric trucks will change the industry? And there's so much hype around autonomous trucks, electric trucks, but to me it seems like a decade off, but maybe they're not. Maybe, I don't know.
I think electric trucks and autonomous trucks eventually will change this industry. However, I think your timescale might even be a little short. The reality is electric trucks will be impactful in large-scale fleets and private fleets where charging infrastructure can be built at the facilities where the trucks pick up and drop off. For the small truckers like Jacinda, they're dependent on public infrastructure to accommodate their flexible sort of work style where they're traveling everywhere and working in many cases with smaller companies that either won't or can't afford to put in charging infrastructure. And so much like the electric vehicle revolution in personal transportation relied on a similar revolution in charging availability, and companies making those cars had to go out and partner or work directly install charging stations for people to be comfortable. Something similar is going to have to happen for electrification to be meaningfully impactful for the small truckers of the world, which is 90% of the trucks on the road.
Yeah, and Jacinda, as we talk about all of this and the transitions in the industry and the higher fuel prices, I mean, do you ever think about giving it up and switching to something else? What keeps you trucking for? What keeps you doing it?
Trucking is a passion, and it's not always a job. To most of us, it's not a job, it's a passion. And you just have to ride the waves, you know, the ups and downs, the lows and highs, like any industry. And trucking's one of them. And it's probably one of the first affected by fuel prices, you know, consumer prices. You know, we have to keep going. Essential. We're so essential, you know, through this whole pandemic, fuel prices, everything. The truck drivers have continued to go the entire time. It's just what it is. But the strong will survive, and those who make it will definitely come out stronger, and I'd say more beneficial on the other side.
And I will tell our viewers too, they can follow you on social media. What's your remind me of your tag, Jacinda?
Jacinda Lady Truckin' coming at ya.
Jacinda Lady Truckin' coming at ya. She has a website. You can buy her merch and everything. This is the first interview we've done from the cab of a truck, folks, and it's been a good one. Yes, and we even get the dog in the back. Really appreciate you guys doing this. It's really interesting to get this insight into the industry. Grant Goodale is Convoy co-founder, and Jacinda Duran, carrier for Blackburn Energy. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.